I'd like to thank you for inviting me on the show. It's such an honour to be here, and I'd just like to say that when I'm not playing Xbox with my mate Thor, I really like to listen to my favourite podcast, Pop Culture Pasta. Hey, Doug! Doug! Oh, that's right, Doug's dead.
Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, Cody. As you may be aware, people are very interested in our relationship.
Are they?
Did you know this?
No.
People clamor for it, hoping we'll show up on TMZ. They're like, what is it really like with Dave and Cody?
That's a good question.
Are they really friends? Does Dave really like Cody?
That is the $1 million question.
Well, of course Dave does. Allegedly. No, I asked this because I came across a story, and I should say first that this is Pop Culture Pastor, the podcast. My name's Dave. Cody's here.
I am. I braved the elements for this.
Yes, currently thunderstorming outside, so if you hear some thunder in the background, I'm sorry. We live in Kansas.
It's not Garth Brooks, The Thunder Rolls.
It's Tornado Alley, and if the podcast just abruptly stops, then we loved you all, and we've gone off to meet Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt somewhere in the sky.
Helen's still with us here.
Oh, is she? Great. That's awesome. So is our friend meteorologist Doug Hetty, who's really busy tonight.
Yes.
But I was just perusing the entertainment news from today, and Zendaya did this interview. She did an interview on New York Times Modern Love podcast.
As one does.
Which...
if you can't get onto the Pop Culture Pastor podcast.
Can we just get the New York Times to put their name on our podcast so people will listen? How does that work?
Have their people call my people.
Anyways, Entertainment Weekly reports that the Euphoria star addressed the marriage rumors that have been circulating since her stylist, Law Roach, that's a real name, claimed at the Actor Awards last month that she and Holland secretly got married. So basically, she says she appreciates fan interest in her love story with Tom, but also wants to, quote, preserve their personal life as much as possible. Here's a direct quote. There is a level of parasocial-like investment in my personal relationship, which I understand. I am aware that I'm a public person, and so is he. And I'm also aware that, we've grown up in front of people and we've done movies where we fall in love with each other. So it's I really do understand that, and I don't want to dismiss that and be stay out of my business or whatever. She says a lot.
She's such a valley girl.
But, she's basically talking about what it's like to be a celebrity. And I just found it interesting because here she has people who are really into her and Tom Holland for good reason. They seem like nice people. They're popular young celebrities. And yet they have to balance this idea of our relationship is very personal because, they're either married or getting married, depending on what you listen to.
I do think that this is a mature and appropriate way to handle setting boundaries. That some things are definitely for public consumption when they make appearances at red carpet events, promoting their films, TV, whatever it may be. But some things should be kept private. It also, I think, helps fandoms stay more grounded if they adhere to the celebrities once. Because so many people do go off and get hyper fixated on potential celebrity couples or celebrities that everyone just thought was going to be the bee's knees. Just look at Brad and Jen or Ben and Jen.
Anybody in Jen, really.
Yes.
Two different Jens, but I got you.
That's good.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not sure what it's like for celebrities nowadays as much as I did when I was younger. And I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but my grandmother would read the National Enquirer.
As one should.
And so when I go to her house, I would read it too, because she had stacks of them. And I would just, peruse these things. And I was aware of, the paparazzi and how they would do it. And then they would like print these pictures, often with trumped up, made up stories in these publications.
I do miss when that was the only made up stories we got.
Nice. Ayo. But I am aware they still make those, but nobody is buying those, right? Or are they?
I hope they are.
Because now we have TMZ and social media, and that seems to do that, and almost maybe even more so, kind of rocketed all that behavior. Because over the years, we've seen all the interactions with paparazzi where the celebrities boil over and get mad at them. And I guess, why wouldn't they? Do you think, oh, you're a celebrity, you just have to deal with that? Or are you somewhere on because I feel like I'm probably on the side of, come on, man, they're human beings. What are you doing? Like, why are we doing this? Do we really want to know everything about them that much?
Shouldn't. I go back to like wrestlers, WWE, AEW. Multiple times I have seen tweets about like, if they invite you to take a picture with them, that's great. But if they are in line at the airport and they're just trying to make their flight, don't be offended if they say I can't do it. And that's just fans just wanting to meet them. I also go back to Princess Diana. Her life is cut short tragically due to a car crash that involved paparazzi and blinding lights and all that jazz. I would have thought we would have learned something back in the 90s, but
I would think with social media, maybe we wouldn't be as big of autograph hounds now. I would think it would be more about pictures, like selfies, whatnot. But then again, I find it bonkers that someone would approach a celebrity when they're eating.
yeah.
When they're having a meal, especially with other people. Like, it's one thing if they're by themselves. I still think it's over a line. But if they're eating with their family or other people, I think it's just bonkers to walk up to someone's table. You wouldn't do that to anybody else.
If you make eye contact with them, I'm good with a slight wave. Like, I see you. I'm not going to mess you.
How you doing, Harrison Ford?
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with you.
A wink.
Now, I am all about if I ever get a chance to hug Harrison Ford, I'm taking advantage of it. I didn't even know that was a possibility until Shrinking.
No way Harrison Ford hugs you. I give that less than a 0.5% chance.
Well, I've never run into Harrison Ford in the wild.
I am saying if you ran, like if it was a definite, if you definitely were going to run into Harrison Ford just out in the wild, there is less than 0.5% chance he would let you hug him, or he would hug you. He might let you hug him.
Maybe he will have listened to this pod and will be sympathetic towards me in the plight of you saying no.
He would be like, I listened to your pod. It sucked.
He's not wrong.
Anyways, just let it be known that the Pop Culture Pastor podcast is for celebrity privacy.
We are.
And if you'd like to come have real conversations, we're the podcast for you. We'd love to have a conversation with you. We'll even let you dictate what you want to talk about. We don't have an agenda.
We'll also give fist bumps or high fives.
Bump my fist.
That's what Rocky would do.
Yeah. All right, Cody. We had a switch up here. We were going to do one thing, but now we're going to do a different thing.
That's how we roll.
Yeah. It was not usually how we roll.
It's how I roll.
But something came up. Our guest couldn't be here. And so now we've got to switch it up. So I did a thing.
Am I okay with this thing?
You're going to be fine with this thing. You're not going to know any of the questions, but I put a call out to the listeners and for an impromptu The Lobby segment for the whole episode. We're just going to take listener questions and we're going to answer them.
I hope they have multiple boxes of Raisinets.
We're going to have to go see. Let's go out to the lobby. We'll see you there.
Welcome to the lobby.
right, Cody. We are out in the lobby. And I put out a particular call to the listeners when I first kind of got the inclination that maybe our guest wasn't going to make it tonight.
Holy week. It's tough.
Yeah. I put out a call for a lobby segment, but not just any lobby segment.
The lobby segment.
I'm going to need you to get your Hot Takes Cody hat on.
Oh.
Hot Take Cody. What? You look unprepared.
I left that hat at home.
Cody's like, I got to prep for that, man. I got to prep for Hot Take Cody. So, yeah, we're going to do a Hot Takes lobby segment. Essentially, we got a bunch of questions and we got a bunch of takes that we can just kind of talk about.
I guess it's time to bust out my hot take hat.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
So we're just going to have some conversations. We're going to talk about these questions and we'll see what happens.
Okie dokie.
This might end up being a shorter episode. I don't know, but this is what happens when we have to adjust on the fly.
This could be the longest episode we've ever done.
I doubt it. We've done some pretty long ones. The first question comes from Andy Aker from Chinook, Kansas.
Hi, Andy.
Who has been on the pod. He says, what book into a movie should have stayed a book? Let's cut deep.
95% of them.
He asks, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park. Let's hear the spicy takes.
Oh, Jurassic Park definitely should have been made a movie. You're not going to have me die on that hill.
Yeah, I would agree with that because Michael Crichton's writing, all of it seems to translate well to movies, especially changing the dynamic of the story itself.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what just happened with Project Hail Mary, where the movie just turns into something different while still being good.
And keeping the heart.
Yeah, and Michael Crichton's writing did that well, and especially Jurassic Park, which, I mean, that was very Spielberg.
Yes. I don't feel it's a hot take to say the Hobbit trilogy should not have been a movie or a series of movies.
It at least shouldn't have been a series.
Yeah. I don't feel it's a hot take, but that's because I have had it forever that the Hunger Games should not have been made into a movie. The book was far better.
I'm going to say something I haven't said before, because if I really think about Lord of the Rings, I will say that Peter Jackson did an amazing job doing what you could do.
Are you going to say because he left out Tom Bombadil?
No, I'm not going to say that because I could have done without Tom Bombadil. I know that's probably slander to some of the purists, but I am not one of those people who think that they had to do the Lord of the Rings movies. I think the books are still very superior in my opinion, but they're my favorite books of all time. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the movies. It just means that they can't quite live up to the books for me.
Or have you seen the extended cuts?
I have. That's not better.
It is. More Lord of the Rings.
I didn't read Harry Potter, so, I can't speak to that one.
I think that it did a decent enough job. I mean, with books, there's always a whole lot of detail and a whole lot of inner monologue that you're not just going to be able to easily translate. But I think the Harry Potter film franchise captured the heart and the essence of the books, where that first Hunger Games movie, trash.
The Hunger Games, in your opinion, should have not been done.
The book was actually really good.
But no, you don't think it should have been turned into a movie, though?
No.
Right.
No. Even with phenomenal actress Jennifer Lawrence, no.
There is a book. It's actually a series of books, but they tried to turn one of his most popular books into a movie starring Matthew McConaughey.
I know where you're going.
In the early McConaughey days when they were trying to make him, like he'd already done the romantic comedy things, but they were trying to make him into like Harrison Ford, essentially.
Good luck with that one.
And so they turn a book by Clive Cussler, who, if you don't know him, he did a series of novels about basically an underwater Indiana Jones. Like, he works for the National Underwater Marine Agency, which is a made-up agency in the United States government. And he's essentially Indiana Jones, but does a lot of things in the sea. So, like, one of his books is called Raise the Titanic. The book they tried to make into the movie was Sahara. And I actually enjoyed it mainly because I thought they did a good job of taking the book and doing the Project Hail Mary thing with it, which is kind of making it your own thing, although they leaned a little too hard into the Indiana Jones-ish kind of atmosphere of it all. And Matthew McConaughey is very Matthew McConaughey instead of being like the character in the books. But people didn't like it. And that was the crushing part. There's probably, I don't know how many books this dude wrote, but I bet there's 20 to 30 books in the Dirk Pitt series, that's the name of the character. And I've read probably half of them.
My brother-in-law, Max, really loves the movie Sahara.
Like I said, I loved it, but when it didn't do well and they canceled all their plans, it was sort of crushing. Like, I was really counting on. I thought McConaughey was great. I just love Matthew McConaughey anyways. But Steve Zahn is like his sidekick. He's like his Sala.
And Steve Zahn's career never recovered.
No, well, it's kind of sad. I think he did fine. But if that movie hits, certainly Steve Zahn would have been bigger. Anyways, that's a big regret of mine, that Sahara doesn't hit big and we don't get just a whole mess of Clive Cussler's Dirk Pitt movies.
I will say I feel there's an Indiana Jones size hole within the pop culture.
Yeah.
And we keep trying to fill it and it just does not work.
Okay, why do you think that is, though? Don't you think it is like the John Krasinski movie? That was clearly a very lazy attempt at trying to do that.
I enjoyed that laziness.
There was a part of it I did kind of enjoy, that it was kind of fun and laid back. It's popcorn flick. Make your own character. You don't have to make everyone Indiana Jones-esque. Let's face it. They get really lucky with Indiana Jones, do Lucas and Spielberg, because Harrison Ford is who makes that.
Exactly.
He's not Indiana Jones-esque. He's Harrison Ford-esque. I'm not sure John Krasinski's the right guy for that type of role.
Whoa. Everyone's favorite Reed?
I love John Krasinski. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying for that kind of role. Like, I think you want Chris Pratt. I think you want someone who can look a little more rugged and yet be kind of suave at the same time. I think John Krasinski doesn't look rugged or suave.
When I see John, that's all I think is rugged and suave.
All right. Contrarian Cody is in the house. The next question comes from Evan Phillips here in Schnoot.
Two Schnoosians.
Yeah. Evan and I do another podcast together on KU basketball. So, it's a niche thing. If you're into KU basketball, you should look it up. It's called Not the Experts. But he says Invincible is by far the best show on television right now. That's a hot take. Invincible, the animated show?
Really?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Really? Really?
I don't think Cody agrees. Just don't think about it. Just blurt it out. What's the best show on television?
Shrinking right now. And probably, if you're going to include just anything within the past 5 years, The Sandman is definitely the best comic book show, which would also include Invincible, and Sandman blows it out of the water.
All right. I'm just going to sidestep the shocking Secret Lives of Mormon Wives slander that just happened.
Yeah.
We're not even going to consider that show.
Not today.
He says Invincible's by far the best show on television right now, but Dave Rimbolt refuses to watch because it's animated. What's up with that? Why does Dave belittle animation?
Dave belittles a lot. I have suggested so many things, including The Sandman.
I mean, go ahead. Keep talking. Tell everyone everything wrong with me.
He also was really slow to pull the trigger on Peacemaker. You gotta twist his arm. He will say, I have a family and I have responsibilities and I can't be watching all the shows.
Well, especially Peacemaker. I gotta wait till late at night to watch that thing.
I think you might have to wait a little bit to watch this animated show. Also, he does not watch anime.
Okay, yeah, I will explain again. The animated stuff is really hard for me to get into. I really don't know why that is. I just don't get into animated stuff. I've tried with all sorts of things. I've tried the anime. I've tried with, more American animated adult type things like that shows are out there.
Venture Brothers.
Yes, exactly. I've tried the Marvel stuff. I just can't get into it. There's something about animated stuff that just doesn't capture me.
It's because you didn't watch Saturday morning cartoons.
No, I watched lots of Saturday morning cartoons.
You need to go back to the inner child, David.
I watched
and embrace it.
Recently, my 7-year-old was watching G.I. Joe, the old cartoons I grew up with. And even then, I was like, whew, these are rough, man. How did I watch this junk? I don't know, man. I've heard Invincible is good, but I'm just not going to watch it. You get me to watch lots of stuff.
I'm still waiting on The Sandman.
Well, I would love to watch The Sandman. Especially the stuff that's all out that I can't just like watch one episode and then wait for next week's. I feel a lot of pressure with that.
Why?
They dropped the One Piece season 2, and I actually liked season 1. And I don't know how long it's been out, but it's taken me forever to just watch a few episodes of it. Just because I can't binge. I can't binge, Cody.
Maybe you need a fidget while you watch these shows.
I do. It's called my cell phone.
No, that's distracting.
It is very distracting, but I don't know. Evan, I'm never watching Invincible. That's probably the bottom line.
I tried my best.
I'm watching Daredevil, Born Again Season 2. So far, it's okay.
It's the cat's pajamas.
No, not yet.
I haven't watched, I can't say.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and it's fine. That's it. Fine. Which a lot of the season 1 was fine. I'm told that it picks up in episode 3.
And then it's the cat's pajamas.
We will see. I'm also, I also just talked my oldest son is going to watch From with me.
Hey.
Yeah, I told him it's scary now. This is a scary show. And he was like into it. He was like, okay, I want to watch a scary show.
Watch-alongs coming to you in like a few weeks.
That's right. If you've been watching From, or if you would like to get into From, I suggest binging it really fast so you can get on board with the season 4 watch-alongs coming up in a few weeks.
And if you can't sit still during a binge fest, get a fidget like a Nido or something.
Yeah, it's imagine Lost, but in the horror genre. That's essentially what it is. And to make that connection even more clear, it's starring Harold Perrineau from The Wire and Lost.
And has some producers from Lost.
Yeah, it's very similar in the way they set that up. Okay, this is from Paul Walcher, who has been on the program a couple times recently. What's a movie you think is trash that has enough good ideas that it could be remade into something good?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like any movie Jackson likes.
Monster-in-Law?
Yeah.
What about the original Suicide Squad?
So there was a lot of cool things in that.
That, like, technically they sort of did just kind of redo it.
It's so weird how they did that, because it was like sort of reboot, but also like some things are canon. I don't know how I feel about that still.
Joe versus the Volcano, that comes to my mind with Tom Hanks. Apparently people love the book, but the movie was quite boring. Quite boring. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not a lot I think of that's trash that I think, well, if they just would have done this.
So typically I lean towards
Mac and Me.
No. That is a classic. Usually I focus on the actors. Like if you had just recast this actor. it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Anything Will Ferrell besides Anchorman.
I think the Da Vinci Code, that character that they had Tom Hanks plays, how many of those movies did they make? 3?
At least.
Like the first one they made with the Da Vinci Code was a 25% Rotten Tomato movie.
That's bananas.
Yeah. So it was not received well at all. And yet they made a couple sequels, I think probably just based on how big of a seller the books were.
And I think it did well at the box office.
I tend to think it's weird that the Da Vinci Code was the one that hit the biggest for him. Who is that guy? Who wrote those?
Dan Brown.
Yeah, Dan Brown. It's interesting that that one is the one that hits the biggest because I easily think that's the worst of them. I think it's the laziest. The intrigue of it all, the mystery. I think that's the laziest one. It's like the atheist dream playbook that he's hitting on there.
Also, I would say a lot of films within the horror genre that aren't your big name blockbusters, oftentimes they have good ideas. They don't have the budget to get like good actors or to have good effects. And then you're like, oh, the premise of this was amazing, but the execution was garbage.
Yeah, there's been a lot of DC movies, not even like main characters. I'm not going after Zach. That'd be too easy.
Green Lantern.
But like Catwoman, for instance, Jonah Hex.
Oh, Jonah Hex, yes.
Yeah, some of these little lesser known characters, I mean Catwoman's more known, but Jonah Hex that have been in comic books for years. So there's stories to draw on that they bombed the adaptation of.
Also, The Dark Tower.
Oh gosh. Yes, which the rumors say that we're getting that, but yeah, it kind of keeps getting pushed back. You don't hear much about the development of it. But yeah, they really need a Dark Tower series. You got to make that a series.
Yeah.
You can't do a movie. They tried to do a movie. And he also asks, Paul does, what's a sequel that you think made the original worse? A sequel that made the original worse. There's an obvious answer here. Gladiator 2 is so bad.
It
makes the original worse.
A lot of why you liked the first.
He literally does things that make you like the characters in the first one less.
Yeah.
All of them.
Thank you, Ridley.
The alleged good characters. Because you hate... He makes Russell Crowe's character look worse. He makes the woman who's the daughter of Marcus Aurelius. She looks terrible in the second one. Like, she's the worst.
She is.
So, yeah, that one's the one that comes to my mind. Paul also has 2 hot takes.
Okay, Paul.
Okay.
Hit me with your hot takes.
He says, Lord of the Rings is a classic of fiction and deserves reinterpretation just as much as Sherlock Holmes and other greats. Says probably will happen once it falls into the public domain. So let me get this straight, Paul. What you're saying is not so much the faithful adaptation, but riffs on it. Is that what you think he's saying?
That's how I take it, or some other legendary filmmaker doing their interpretation of it. Because, I mean, there's a generation that just assumes that how Peter Jackson presents it is how Tolkien wrote it and wanted you to see it. But with Sherlock, they have made modern adaptations of it set in a more modern time frame. But then they've also tried to reinvent the character, and some things can just be left alone.
Sherlock Holmes, Robin Hood, those are characters that have been done a lot and riffed on.
And I don't know if I need it unless Mel Brooks is doing the rifting.
It is interesting that we're going to get into something probably in our lifetimes, hopefully, God willing. Lord of the Rings will enter into public domain in the UK and most of the EU on January 1st, 2044.
Whoa.
And in the United States in 2049, 5 years after that. But like, that's less than 20 years away, Cody, where Lord of the Rings will just be in the public domain.
I don't know if I like that.
Will those people who make like the Winnie the Pooh slasher flicks?
Yeah.
Will they make Lord of the Rings slasher flicks, probably. I don't know. He says he feels similarly about Marvel characters. He says, I'm not sure I would be so hard-nosed about deserving reinterpretation, but I do think the characters are bigger than the actors for me. Yes, even Robert Downey Jr.
Bob?
He's probably left an indelible mark on Iron Man, but so have dozens of writers and artists over 60-ish years, and I'd love to see someone else in the role. Totally with you on that.
Here's my hot take. I really don't care for the character of Iron Man.
It's fair.
In the comic books or in the movies. Like,
huge Marvel nerds didn't either. He's not even a top 10 character in the Marvel verse as far as fandom goes until these movies hit.
Honestly, the reason why we have a dozen Batman actors is because there is a massive fandom and great stories that have been told that you're like, okay, well, they haven't told this story, and I still have a Batman-sized hole in my fandom that I need filled.
Yeah, so Batman, it's the character.
Yeah.
That makes him popular. Iron Man, the movies, the Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, and then the Avengers series, it's very similar to Indiana Jones. It's Robert Downey Jr. He's the one who makes the character. The comic book character is not necessarily like the same personality type of
Robert Downey
Jr. I mean, he's a really kind of unique charisma and personality.
Yeah.
So they got kind of lucky with him.
I would say with comic book characters that are well loved and have multiple good stories where people just want to see the character no matter what. Kind of like Spider-Man. I mean, people love Spider-Man and they're willing to see different versions of Spider-Man. I don't know that for Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next question here. Matthew Adam Wozbinski from Bettendorf, Iowa.
Hello.
He says, what classic movie or movies would you be okay with a reboot? Think what they're doing for Harry Potter on HBO. Like a total just new telling of the story.
Okay. This will be a hot take. A lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies that I think some of the things, like when you go back and watch, there's one starring Gregory Peck and Ingrid Bergman. I think it's called Spellbound.
Okay.
It has you on the edge of your seat until the last scene because they're doing something. They're trying to make it look like the hands pointing back at you're like the camera's the view of the person and like the audience is inside that person's head. And so like they have this cartoonish sized hand and it looks bad. Like it takes you out of that moment. And there's other movies that I think like The Birds could be a lot scarier now because like
yes. Yeah.
the visual effects and all that jazz. And then some of it, like they have good story. The acting's not necessarily the best, but a lot of directors I don't think can make it their own. They feel like they have to keep some of that Hitchcockness. And then it's like, well, I might as well just watch the original.
Yeah. So I agree with what you're saying there because I think some of the good classic works from people that were kind of larger than life in the industry, I do think a lot of those are ripe for reboots, but they have to figure out that last part you just said, which is find a director who's got vision and something to say and just let him do it. Ryan Coogler is a great example. So Ryan Coogler comes along, writes a weird de facto sequel reboot to the Rocky series, makes it into a movie, gets it made called Creed, and it works. It's just so good. That's what I mean. Like you can totally reboot a franchise, reboot these stories, and let the director or the new guy just really make it a part of his story, himself telling the story.
Coogler making Citizen Kane. Mark it down.
I mean, would you watch it? I would totally watch it. I mean, I would watch anything Coogler does at this point.
That story would look so different today.
Yeah.
And like, what would be the rosebud item? Like, that would be intriguing.
Well, there's lots of movies in that kind of vein too. Think about like 1984, which they made a movie off the George Orwell book. Like you could redo that story for present day and make it, different but the same. The Truman Show is one that you'd have to totally reshape that, because that is such a specific time.
Like, that lands so perfectly.
It does in 1990, whenever.
Yeah, 97, 98.
Yeah. And so I think movies like that could be remade. I think The Goonies, I've said that for a while, especially if you wanted to do it like they rebooted Karate Kid into Cobra Kai. Like, make it a series, have fun with it, get someone who's leading it. Like, I think William Zabka really is instrumental in Cobra Kai, getting it made and how it's made, and them just having kind of fun with his character at first. And then, of course, getting Ralph Macchio on board, who is still the worst. But they play with that too.
Not to be confused with Ralph Macchio, the comic book guy. Completely different Ralph Macchios.
Star Wars is the other one. Like, here's my thing on fixing Star Wars. Don't do any more Star Wars for like 5 years. Just go completely off the map and shut everything down. And then in 5 years, start working on a reboot of the original trilogy. But have someone young do it, and have someone like from a younger generation start telling the story. You can bring George Lucas on and you ask him pointed questions. You say, what was your heart in this decision? What was your heart in this decision? And then don't make a one-for-one remake. Make a reboot. Get the heart of what Lucas was trying to tell in his story, and then translate it to someone's younger voice.
And hopefully they know how to write dialogue.
Yeah. Because I think, imagine again, Ryan Coogler remaking Star Wars. He's doing X-Files, but that's going to end up being a very Ryan Coogler-y version of X-Files. And I'm here for that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Directors who have enough confidence to take something they loved, but really make it their own while still staying true to the heart. And I think that's the only thing that would work with Star Wars now. I think it's so far gone, and you've done so much brand damage over the years by trying to do all these things. You're never going to keep all the fans happy.
They have kept me happy with Pedro and Grogu.
Yeah, some people are happy with some of the things, but it's impossible to make everyone happy. Jim Smith from Pittman, New Jersey says, I think Taylor Swift is completely overrated. I don't understand the hype.
Whoa, buddy.
Cody takes the floor.
I do. So there is a lot of almost mass hysteria around Taylor Swift, especially whenever like she's doing a tour within geekdom, especially comic book movie geekdom. There's people that love the Easter eggs. They're like, oh, there's these hidden little things that you have to be on the inside to understand. And if you haven't read this comic book, you don't get this reference. And what L7 weenie you are. But she does that. She has like hidden Easter eggs within her songs, within her music videos, within album covers, and within her outfits and wardrobe for these tours. And she has balanced having some of her personal life out there and also having some of it very reserved. I think because like she was so upfront and open early on and then became more reserved, that drew people in. She also writes all her own songs, which in this day and age where like Beyonce on her last album had like 15 songwriters.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Taylor and Jack Antonoff wrote this. Taylor wrote this. Taylor wrote this. Taylor wrote this. Taylor and Jack Antonoff wrote this. And so if she is the primary writer, she plays instruments, she sings, she dances, she tries to make time for her fans, and like they have their own like language with different items and different slang. Like, she has created her own pop culture verse. Yeah, it's Marvel, but for singers right now.
Yeah, I don't think you said something right at the beginning of that. I don't think you can argue with, which is that there's a hysteria when she goes on tour. And I'm not so sure you can really even argue with that, because you have to have something in order to create that. I mean, there's a reason she's the richest pop singer ever.
Slash country music star.
Because, yeah, people like her. And I can, while saying I don't really know much of her music and I'm not a huge fan, I can also say I have a lot of respect for her. I mean, you think about some of these other big, huge female pop stars and how she's done it different. Like Madonna, Taylor Swift's appeal has never had really the same appeal that Madonna was using. Now, there's a big conversation to be had there of what women feel forced into.
Yes.
But also looking at Taylor, you can say, well, she's avoided that and still made it big. She's avoided a lot of the industry stuff and made it big.
And she literally wrote a song called The Fate of Ophelia. Like, no one knows that that's who the lady is in Hamlet.
Well, I knew.
Well, you and I knew because we're cultured. But the Utes didn't know that.
Adam Michael in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I've heard of that place.
He asks, what's the best song to wake up to? And is it better to use an annoying or favorite song for your alarm clock?
Oh, I've had some good ones over the years.
What song do you wake up to currently?
Oh, it's just the alarm right now. For a while, it was the Lion King song.
Which one?
The
Circle of Life?
No.
Can you feel the love tonight?
When here's a lion.
Oh, that's the Circle of Life, right?
Well, you
mean the one that starts off the movie version with
Yes.
like the African chant?
Yeah, you got to start off with that.
That I did the very poor version of last time.
You did. And Taste the Biscuit. That one was super fun. But personally, I think Enya is the way to go. Like any song by Enya, really.
Are you serious right now? Are you being serious?
You can ask my wife. We have woken up to Enya before.
Oh, no.
Just know you can sail the Orinoco flow, buddy. You could go like really on the nose and go with Wham! Wake Me Up before you go.
That is too on the nose. It's a little too on the nose.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it. But you could do that.
Clearly, if you're waking up to Wham! Or George Michael, it's Careless Whisper. Adam, man, I'm old, dude. I can't remember the last time I needed an alarm. I wake up pretty much early on my own. I actually set an alarm most of the time, but I hardly ever need it. But the obvious answer for most of my life with the smartphone is Feels Like the First Time by Foreigner. That's clearly the right answer.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ice Cube.
No, today was a good day. Not a bad choice. And I may have woke up to that before. I don't know, in my younger days with iPod or whatever. I remember I've used Baker Street as my wake up music before. You know that one?
That song.
That was pretty good, right? Okay, we're going to take an intermission, Cody, and we're going to play a game just as a palate cleanser before we go back and answer some more questions. But I'm going to put you through a quick game where I don't want you to think too much about your answer. I just want you to really say agree or disagree and just give your thoughts right off the cuff.
Agree.
Not yet. You agree to do it.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. I'm going to give you some. This is a hot take bonus round.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was a net negative for cinema.
Disagree. it definitely got a whole bunch of other films made that were very positive, and also it made a ton of money. Right now, it is dragging down its overall positivity, but I think it still has enough positive in the past that it outweighs the negative that it's done the past 2.5, 3 years.
Okay, good answer. Baby Yoda is emotionally manipulative and lazy writing.
How dare you? I will disagree with that.
All right. The Office isn't funny. It's just comfortable.
Disagree. It's both.
Okay. Yeah. That was one where I was like, well, most sitcoms that we like are comfortable, right? That's why we like them.
Yes.
Star Wars should have stopped after the original trilogy.
Disagree. There's been some good things that have come out in the Star Wars universe, because there will be people that'll be like the animated stuff, The Last Jedi for some. And
He went there.
Yeah, I did. And I mean, the Mandalorian series is really good.
You know, what's interesting is we were just at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, and Timothy Zahn was there.
My friend Tim.
Yeah, he didn't even know who he was.
I saw him with my own eyes.
He's the writer of The Heir to the Empire, the Thrawn trilogy. That
Yes.
was a part of the extended universe, never canon, but it was the extended universe after the original trilogy. And frankly, I told Cody when I found out he was there, I was like, they should have just made those. They should have made those sequel movies instead of going back to the prequels.
That would have been too logical.
Maybe. Okay, moving on. Pixar peaked at Toy Story and has been coasting ever since.
I disagree. I feel that there's been several Pixar movies since. And like, are we saying the Toy Story franchise, or are we saying Toy Story 1? Toy Story 3, it's pure cinema.
Superhero origin stories are the most boring genre in film.
False. Disagree.
Ted Lasso is toxic positivity disguised as good television. That's a real take someone had.
There is a kernel of truth to that, but
What?
I disagree for the most part.
What the heck is toxic positivity?
That whole, I'm just going to keep being positive while I'm dying on the inside. The outward positivity, and I'm struggling on the inside and not letting others know that I am failing.
Okay. I think they cover that in the show, though.
I was going to say, like,
They don't sugarcoat Ted's problems.
they let Ted have his breakdown. They let Ted need others in his life, and they address it. Also, I think this could be referring to like giving everyone a second chance potentially.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing I'm kicking back on, because it seems like these days, anytime there's a character in stories we like that it gives grace or forgiveness, people will rail on it online. Shouldn't have done that. That person didn't deserve to be forgiven. Yeah, that's the whole point of forgiveness. You don't deserve it.
Nope.
All right. The Lion King is just Hamlet with worse dialogue.
There's some good dialogue in The Lion King.
I mean, it's literally Hamlet.
So I will disagree.
I don't think they deny that it's Hamlet. Stranger Things stopped being good after season 1.
Was Bob season 2?
Bob was like season 3, I think.
Well,
Maybe
then
season 2. I don't know.
you're wrong.
And then this last one. Everyone brace. Harrison Ford has been phoning it in since 1997.
I agree with that until shrinking.
Okay, back to the questions. Mike May from Cheney, Washington.
Hey, buddy.
He says fans ruin IP more than major studios.
Oh, it's close. I will say it is very close, especially with toxic fan bases. The reactions to the most recent trilogy of Star Wars being an example. J.J. Abrams, some people really love his work. I don't think he knows how to finish a story, but letting him tell his 3 movies, if he would have gotten 3 movies, letting him do that would have been fine. But like, people complained after the first one. When Rian Johnson did his movie, people complained, even though I thought that he honed in on a key characteristic of Luke Skywalker, because I think Luke would have pouted.
Oh, danger.
Yeah.
Danger, Will Robinson.
That's how I roll. It's who Luke is. That's not a hot take. It's just fact.
I think we should move on.
But
We're going to get hate mail.
like half the fandom railed against it. And so then we had to overcorrect in the third one. And
Yeah.
JJ, I mean, they made redonkulous choices. Like, oh, there's this ancient shipwreck. Or this ancient artifact that goes to this modern shipwreck.
It was an ancient artifact in a shipwreck that was 20 years old.
Yep.
And it looked ancient. Anyway,
It made zero sense. But you had to overcorrect because the fandom was upset.
Yeah.
And you get it with wrestling, you get it with comic book movies, you get it with even Wicked. The second one, there was the fan base that was railing against it, and there was those that were like, it can do no wrong. And then that kind of just burns me out on wanting to watch it. I mean, I did watch Wicked too, but
yeah. I think, Mike, I would agree with you in principle, but I do think there's some complexities at play here, some nuance, because I would piggyback on what Cody's saying is like, so yes, I think toxic fandom is a problem, but I don't think they're the ones who ruin it. I think it's the studios who are too much of cowards to let the storytellers make the stories they want to tell, and instead dictating what the stories they tell that they think are going to make these toxic fans happy, which that's never going to happen.
no.
Toxic people are toxic because they want to be toxic, and they're never going to be not toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they want to be. And so, and then the other part of that is political ideologies, and that whole fight that has taken hold in America has ruined a lot of things. And Hollywood is one of those things. Storytelling is one of those things, because a lot of those toxic fans are just playing off of the political ideology fight.
And now filmmakers and studios have their own ideologies that they try to push.
Yeah.
And I really do feel that with these studios that we do need to be aware that, like with wrestling, for instance, they talk about the fans don't know what they want. And I believe that to be fact. Look at M. Night's movies. The reason that he shoots to stardom is because there's a twist ending that no one saw coming. No fan was going to write that movie. You have to be creative. You have to make choices. You have to make the people grow with the characters and feel heartache when they suffer heartache. And there's not complexity to these stories. And there's more and more news coming out that studios and writers are being told, hey, the attention span's not there. Write something basic, because that's all we can really count on.
Chris Vasquez in Akron, Ohio, he has a couple takes.
Okay.
One is, I don't really care if Aslan is voiced by a woman.
I'm with you right now.
I think I'm there too. I don't really care. It doesn't threaten my faith in any way. It's just an allegory.
Yeah.
That's all. His other one is, Ron Weasley is the worst and is stupid for picking to be friends with Harry and Hermione. This is a guy who feels constantly overshadowed by other people, and he literally picks the most famous wizard in the world to be his friend and then gets angry when that friend overshadows him. Is he the source of his own pain, Ron Weasley?
Well, some would say it's self-sabotaging behavior.
Oh. He's about to go therapy mode.
Well, not super therapy mode, but literally, like, if you know that is an area of vulnerability or weakness, that might be something that, you talk to a therapist about, because surely wizards have therapists. But if that is a deal breaker for you, then you probably shouldn't be friends with the most famous wizard in the world and arguably the most talented Muggle wizard in the world in Hermione.
I don't know why we got to use the slur.
That's how they describe her in the book.
Our friend David Allen in Winter Garden, Florida says, in the MCU, we never actually got a great Iron Man movie. People love the MCU Iron Man character as played by Robert Downey Jr., but none of his solo movies were anything special.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been saying for years they're dog doo-doo.
But they're not dog doo-doo.
They are.
The Iron Man 2 is the worst one, and it's just there. It's sort of like Thor Dark World. Iron Man 1, the one that kicks it all off, gets some bonus for that. Because they're starting something completely new, and they're taking a C Marvel character to do it, which is just crazy. And again, we've had that discussion already with Robert Downey Jr. But I think on principle, I'm agreeing with David Allen's take. Iron Man 3 is probably the best one, and it's so weird.
It's my favorite one.
It's so kind of offbeat for a superhero movie. They try a lot of just different kind of stuff with it, that it works, but yeah, there's some material left on the table. Like the fact that we had Iron Man be the core of a 20 plus movie series of that centers around the Avengers and Iron Man, and we don't get Armor Wars is sort of nuts. That's like one of the coolest Iron Man stories in the comic books. Josh Kane in Houston, Missouri says Dumbledore is a bad man. That's his hot take. Dumbledore sucks.
Also might not be wrong.
Probably not. I mean, I think I'm not a reader of the Harry Potter books, but I think that's the point, isn't it? That it's like, okay, so what I would say to Josh, who I know Josh is a minister. What I would say to Josh is I take very seriously Jesus's words when he says no one's good but the Father. And so I would rather my stories reflect that, hey, sometimes we do good things, sometimes we do bad things, but we are neither good people or bad people. And it can go wrong if we think of ourselves those ways, in those terms. None of us are good people, but can we come through in a heroic moment?
He's constantly putting Harry in tough situations, and I feel that's using him.
Okay, Cody disagrees with me. He says Dumbledore sucks.
Like, he has some wise things to say, and he has some really cool story plots, but at the same time, it's like, why are we forcing this teenage boy to do all this?
Great beard.
Yeah.
Also, he has a great beard.
Could have been on Duck Dynasty.
Last one, and I think this is a great one to end on here, Cody. This is from DJ Guthrie, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He says, Batman shouldn't always have to be the dark, brooding loner. I prefer my Batsy as someone who actually enjoys doing what he does and works alongside sidekicks. Sure, Batman can still be a tragic character, but he doesn't always have to be a stick in the mud.
Not wrong. I do think that there are some great Batman stories where he has a sidekick, where he has his son, and there's stories where, like, he's legitimately seemingly to fall in love, like he's not pushing them away. I do enjoy a happy Batman. I feel the 80s transformed a lot of comic book material for a darker slant. And then Christopher Nolan making his trilogy, it got really dark, really gritty, and that transformed like the whole genre of movies, of comic book movies, to be a little bit more dark, a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, think of what the 80s gives rise to just in the comic book world. You've got darker Batman, because Batman was a lighthearted-ish character, Superman 2. Before that, like, you go back to the 60s and those comic books are goofy. They're much like the Batman TV show.
Yeah.
Way back when. But the 80s gives rise to like the darker Batman, gives rise in Marvel to the Punisher and Venom. These kind of anti-hero-ish type characters who don't mind taking lives. And we kind of fall in love. Like John Wick, if you don't see the roots of John Wick in the Punisher, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he's essentially the same character.
Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Batman the Dark Knight Returns, Batman the Killing Joke, Daredevil Born Again. So Frank Miller and Alan Moore both, I think, have a significant hand in making it more adult and making it more dark. And Alan Moore now complains that too many adults are stuck in comic books and comic book movies when it's meant for kids. And I'm like, you did this. You did this.
Alan. Yeah. So DJ, I agree. And we've actually talked about this before on the pod, where I'm just getting a little burnt out on gritty, dark, brooding Batman. And so much so I was really mad. That was my whole problem with Zack Snyder's the Snyderverse in DC, was not only did Batman that way, but he started turning Superman into Batman. Oh, now we got a dark, broody Superman. Like, no, that's not Superman. And maybe James Gunn's Superman from last year is an overcorrection, because I know a lot of people weren't happy with that.
Oh, I loved it.
I loved it too.
And I'm not even a Superman guy.
But I'm willing to listen to people say that they think it's too much. It's an overcorrection.
They're jabronis.
But if it is an overcorrection, it is directly due to the people Cody just said were responsible. Frank Miller, Alan Moore, where in the 80s, it starts to turn into everyone loves these anti-heroes. Like, I love the Punisher, but I love a nuanced Punisher. Like, they play him pretty well, nuanced, in the Daredevil series and on the Netflix show. Whereas in the 80s, the Punisher was a cartoon. I mean, he's just killing people. He just comes on with machine guns and bazookas, and he's just killing people. And he's very much John Wick, who's going to kill everyone in the room for killing his dog. Like, bro, it's a dog. Chill out.
It's a dog his dead wife gave him. How dare you?
I'm going to get all the hate mail now.
Yes.
I've never even seen John Wick.
It's a bit more nuanced than we give it.
Yeah, I was trying to be funny, but yeah.
People love Keanu Reeves.
Anyways, that's all the questions we got. Listeners, thank you so much. You really came through when we needed an emergency episode. You came with great questions, great hot takes.
So many hot takes.
Let us know if you didn't get a chance to add your hot takes, your questions. Add some more to the posts for this podcast episode when we get it out there on social media. Of course, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and do all that happy stuff. And we'll see you with a more organized episode next week.
This has been Holy Hot Takes.
Holy hot takes. I thought for a minute you said hot cakes, and I got excited. Like, I could go for some hot cakes.
That's a different thing.
Too early for flapjacks?
Too early.